Hello and welcome once more to Conscious TV. My name is Iain McNay and today our guest is Anneke Wills. Hi Anneke. And Anneke has written two autobiographies about her life. One is called Naked, which is the second one. The other one is Self-Portrait, which is the first one. And she's an actress and also been on a quite intense spiritual search. So we're going to find out about her life and what's happened. So let's start with the beginning and with writing these books. Why did you write two books rather than one?
Two, I think, in a way, Ian, because it seems to me in my life that that so much has happened and it's all been packed in, that for me writing it anyway, to write the whole thing all in one go was too much. It was like climbing a massive great mountain and I wasn't going to make it. So I thought I'll break it after 30 years and then I'd do the next 30 years. And in this way I could handle it. And also I felt that the people who were reading it, I mean, it is, you've read a bit of it, it is actually quite exhausting, you know. I just thought they'll just get exhausted, it'll be too much.
So, but you've got a great memory because there's so much detail in these books.
Well, I know, but so in a way, I think it's to do with having been a painter, that I can visualise. So what I did in the process of writing the first book as a child, I went back then into my memory and because I have a visual memory, I could paint the picture so that I could be inside the picture. So then I could smell the smells and taste the tastes and remember again. And can I go straight into saying, and then for me, when I went back, one of the very strong memories was as a 6-year-old, and it was just after the war. It was just at the end of the war, and we'd moved into a house with a very big garden in Burnham Beeches, which is a wonderful old wood, and I stepped out into this new garden where I'd never been, and it was like, now we would call it a Sartori. Of course, I'm a 6-year-old, I don't know, but I've walked out into heaven. And, you know, and the pigeons are calling and the light, the shifting light is coming through the trees. And I've gone into this magical garden where everything and me in it is perfect and vibrating. And I walk down to this little river and the stream is running. And now I've gone into my imagination and I think I want to build a little hut and live here. So I had gone into actually a sort of altered state. But I was 6, so I didn't know it.
But did that happen quite often when you were young?
Yes. Yeah. And another time when I was 14, and I went to a Diaghilev exhibition, and it was like I knew. It was a sort of you know past life thing that I knew the Russian ballet, and I was vibrating. You know, my whole body. All the other school children with me were sort of giggling and talking about boys and doing their usual thing, but I'd gone into this altered state. Yes. So I think it had started very early.
Absolutely. Because
Yes.
your childhood wasn't easy, was it? Your father left your
Yes.
mother and the family, obviously, when you were quite young.
Yes.
And your mother had different boyfriends who weren't always very nice to you, it seems.
Yes, will beat me up. Yes, and I have to say that none of it, I don't see any of it actually as bad, although I had a lot of very intense experiences, and even later on, you know, with a very nasty abortion and so forth. But now, looking back, I have to say that it was all part of what made me who I am now. It was things that one had to go through, you know, dark times. Dark, intense experiences.
It kind of strengthened you having to deal with these difficult situations.
Yes, to bring out one's strength, yes.
So when you were like really young, did you feel you wanted to be an actress?
Well, who can tell, you know, because my mother didn't, and she would like to have done. So was she sort of infiltrating it? You know, I don't know.
So partly you may have been living
It could
out
have been.
her
It could have been. I think if I'd been
yes.
left to my own devices, I'd have been a painter, because that was very strong. But at the same time, it didn't matter, any kind of form of creativity. And immediately I was given the opportunities, because I was in a film when I was 11, so already I was given the opportunities to do acting.
And how did that come about? That's, you know, every 11-year-old's dream almost, isn't it?
Magic in a little village school, you know, and then an uncle who knew the film director, and then she wanted some children. And I didn't know what an audition piece was. I didn't know, so I went along and they said, have you got an audition piece? And so I said, no. But at that time, we had the Queen had just been crowned, so we all knew, the village children, we'd all been taught the Queen's speech. So I said to the producer, no, but I can do the Queen's speech, so close your eyes. and then I declare before you all that my whole life, and I did the Queen's speech, and then they all sort of were smiling and grinning, and I got the part. So my life began as an actress.
Yeah. And you were in the Railway Children, weren't you?
Then later on, yes, I was in the
Because I remember watching that when I was a kid. You know, I don't remember you specifically, but I remember that being something I had to watch every week when it was on.
Yes.
Must have been a lot of fun doing this when you were so comparatively young.
Tremendous fun. And for me, the scene where my character Bobby goes running down the station into the arms of her long-lost father, that reverberated for me because, of course, I didn't have a father.
Yes.
And I longed to fall into the arms of my father, you know. Yeah. So tears were very easy. Daddy, my daddy. It makes me cry now, you know. If I watch Jenny Agutter do it now, I still go off. Yeah.
So your childhood experiences, not having the father, their proper father there, really kind of affected you for a lot of your life.
Yeah, it did.
And it presumably influenced your relationships with men as well, because you seem to, I don't know, you had very stimulating relationships with men, but they weren't always very easy ones, were they?
Well, so of course, when you look back, you know, now that one is completely wise, of course, and you look back, what I see is that, of course, I was looking for a father replacement, and what I remembered was that the father, he looked like David Niven. He was very handsome. He was very intelligent and clever, and angry. He also had quite a lot of violence was there. Yes. So that's the kind of imprint that I will go, in a way, as a young, unconscious person, to try and mend the wound, to try to go there and say, now you love me, you know. So that's what I did. I only just a few years got, right, that's what I'm doing now. And ever since then, I haven't had a relationship because there's no need anymore.
Really?
No, there's no need, because that whole drama has been played out.
Yeah.
And now I'm content on my own, but we'll get there in a while.
Yeah. Because you lived with Tony Newley for a time, which was when you were quite young.
The wonderful Anthony Newley, the wonderful, talented, what would you describe? I mean, also cruel, very cruel. But then what I want to say too is that not really, it's just unconsciousness. If you were conscious, you couldn't do what he did. He was unconscious. We just didn't know any better.